God, delirium. Lagging me. What in the world? Double Hinekora's lock? How did that drop? How did that drop? I have no altars. 2 times Hinekora's lock? How could that drop? How did that even drop? What would make that drop? What would make... I mean, even one of them is crazy. What's up, guys? It's New. Here we go. We got our first farming video of 3.25. And it's kind of a strange league, isn't it? With loot coming from weird places in the new league mechanic, but juicing seeming to be very expensive in terms of cost. And if you missed the boat, no pun intended, on, you know, like day 1 Legion stuff, maybe you can't catch up. I don't know. But anyway, I've been doing a lot of this farm right here in front of you, which is a Legion Expedition Beyond Altar farm. And I've totally missed the honeymoon phase on this. I was not farming this on day 1. I didn't really start farming this till the very end of day 2, early day 3, and we are now on day 5. So, with a lot of people out there thinking that T16 is bad, that you got to be doing T17 to make any currency at all, that you got to be juicing your maps in somehow, or you got to be doing something niche like Sanctum, or, you know, going crazy on the league mechanic, I don't know. This is good old-fashioned tier 16 grinding, guys. Basically, almost no investment per map, just the Keurig map device, and alching. It's an alch go strat. So it's going to be perception versus reality. We'll see what happens here. I will be tracking gold too, but I'm not going to like really factor that in any way. And we'll factor in most anything that drops, except for extraordinary outliers like a divine altar or something like that. But anyway, here's the strat. It is a little bit of Nico chance, almost 100% chance to spawn Nico. I'm missing these 3 nodes here, which will help with some of the movement speed to get going in the map. I got a guaranteed chance to get Expedition with the bomb, and a little bit better than normal. I got a guaranteed chance to get Legion with the easier clears. Okay, we got the full-blown altars. I sometimes do Exarch altars for this, depending on the status of the Eldritch currency. It looks like Eater of Worlds is a little better right now. And we got full-blown Beyond. And now my build is a Elemental Hit of the Spectrum Warden, which is going really well, and Beyond is just spectacular for it. Here's an update that many of you might not be aware of. It looks like a change was made in respect to how the boss is spawned, or how often it is, or how many Beyond mobs you have to kill to spawn the boss. I've noticed the boss is not spawning in most of my maps, so I'm actually taking this point to sort of force the boss to spawn. They drop a lot of currency, and you still doesn't... I've never seen it... Well, I've almost never seen the boss spawn early in a map anymore. So that makes Beyond seemingly a little better, actually. In fact, if anything, I'd like the boss to spawn more. Now, to remind you, if the boss spawns in a map, then the Beyond no longer continues spawning. So the best case scenario, the Beyond boss spawns toward the very end of the map. I'll be running singular focus here, and we're ping-ponging between the maps Dune and Bog. And this is going to help, even with just a very slight points in adjacent maps with singular focus. The boss quite often drops an adjacent map, and so when I'm doing the Dunes map, quite often the Dune boss will drop Bog, and vice versa. Sometimes, you know, you get some maps, and I'm able to sustain maps this way, even without corrupting him, even without 8-mod corrupted, with this many favorited slots. And yeah, this build can handle some of these bosses like Shaper and stuff easier, so it's easier to unlock. And you don't necessarily need all but 1 point unlocked, okay? But you know, you could sub out some Nico stuff, for example, if that were the case. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of the Atlas there. And then let's get into the investments here. We're going to be using Wealthy Exile, like I've used before. Very cheap, okay? Very cheap. Looks like 4.35 Divines per map. Roughly 6 Chaos per map. Basically the cost of the map. And an Alch Orb. And a Val Orb. That's basically it, guys. I'm going to just be throwing everything in. There's going to be a lot of bubblegum currency. There's going to be a lot of expedition logbooks. And be some forgotten tomes, or forbidden tomes, I guess they're called. We're going to get a lot of stacked decks, so maybe if I remember, we'll do a little gambling session at the end. A lot of just raw currency. Emblems, which aren't worth as much anymore. The Ornate Incubators are better than usual. They're now dropping Divine Orbs sometimes, so Incubators are really big. Just the natural rewards that come from Legion, even though it seems like Legion is bad because the emblems are so cheap. That's not the main source of currency for Legion. Here's everything in the dump tab. So, I mean, there's not really any point to talk about Scarabs or fragments or anything. There's nothing to speak of, right? Update on the build. Not really anything to update because I just came out with a video yesterday. However, one thing I will say. Tattoos. This is obviously a good investment to do for those of you who are struggling with the movement speed issues. Get yourself the movement tattoos. Do be warned, there are not very many on trade. It seems that the market is very dry on those, and they were costing me 40 chaos a piece to do that. But I know those are going to hold over basically indefinitely. I'll probably just use those forever on this build. So I figured it was a good investment to make prior to Headhunter. Yes, okay. Here's the gear. It's the same as I've been using for a while. Let's get started with map number 1. Now I am corrupting these maps. Okay, I have a regex as well. I think I'll show the regex right quick. It is right here. That will be linked down below. It's sort of generic regex that does a quick pass on things like monsters can't have a chance to avoid ailments. Elemental and Fizz Reflect can also brick the map for me. Some major things like that. It's just T16. You can see I don't even have the 5th slot unlocked. And yeah, go down here. Legion. Let's do this. 0 gold to start. So we'll go ahead and let you know what kind of gold we get. So I think this is going to come out pretty well. I think it's going to surprise some people. Again, this is a poverty league, which means even just a modest amount of currency per hour is respectable. You guys got to remember this is the start of the league. Wow, okay, I instantly just made 65 chaos there. So first week of the league, you're typically not making some crazy amount of currency anyway, because there's just not that much currency in the market, and there's clearly less raw currency in the market than usual. There's no magic find, directly speaking. You can still use the glittering scarab, covetous shrine, few little things, but yeah, we've seen what's been going on with the group players. Obviously, there was the exploit around forcing brothers gifts to drop in a tier 1 map through the scrying thing. That's all been fixed, I guess. I'm not aware of anything else that is going on right now. So Big Bomb Expedition spawned a Wildwood, but I'm ignoring it because it's not worth it right now, at least not with minimal juice. Leveling some gems on the back end to corrupt. One good tip with the Nico thing, don't just grab all of the packed with energy. Don't just grab all of them immediately. Because it's a timer, and once you grab it, it's gone forever. So I'll save one. And it's honestly probably best to save the last one for looting. It is also another good tip. But you might want it for actually clearing the map. Uh-oh. Got a divine. Okay, see? Legion drops divines. Look at that. Not very often, but it happens. Confusing. Actually not off boss. Beyond does spawn a lot off of Expedition. Raw Divine again, off of the incubator, I believe. Yeah, it should be. I'm just knocking things out of stasis right now. God, delirium. It's lagging me. What in the world? Double Hinekora's lock? How did that drop? How did that drop? I have no altars. 2 times Hinekora's lock? How could that drop? How did that even drop? What would make that drop? What would make... I mean, even one of them is crazy. duped. That means I was like a quarter of the way away from duping a mirror drop there. I don't know, where did that come from? Somebody please tell me where that comes from. I have no idea where that came from. Alright, well. What are locks worth right now? Just want to put this out there, guys, that to farm up currency, it's a pretty good idea to invest in Hinekora's locks. So you should probably get a few of those. Good investment. They go up in value. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I actually can't kill that mob. That's interesting. I had no return proj because I had no mana and no regen, I guess. Yeah. So the downside from fledgling was actually getting me killed there. But only because I had no regen. So I couldn't shoot regular arrows to get the return proj to kick in. That was bizarre. Yeah. Yeah, so fledgling downside, you know. Could be lethal. I couldn't tell what the heck was going on, and then I finally put 2 and 2 together. Ah, tainted fusing, nice. Nice. What the hell, I forgot to grab this. Alright, now I can loot the map. Oh wait. Where'd that come from? Mystery Divine. I'm actually getting decent divine drops here. I was hoping for like maybe 3 in total for 100 maps. We've already got 3 at least. It's not counting 2 Hinekora locks either. It's really Alch and Go. Well, it's Alch. It's Alch Val and Go. So long as it didn't like brick the regex. My regex isn't that restrictive though. Oh, raw divine. Assume that was another incubator. That's all I gotta do, right? Just don't get hit. Oh! I got hit. Oh my god. Oh! Actually, standing in the middle is a good idea. Oh! Still going. Come on. It's fucking Warden. You got this. Ah! Oh god. Oh! So intense! Oh! I did it! Wow, blind fight. Actually did it. Wait, is that all the loot? That's it? Why are there 2 of me? What? Ah, another incubator. Ornate incubator. Nice. You guys see that? You should clip that if you didn't see that. What I just did to that deli with the Beyond boss. He walked forward into an ice prison, or on the edge of an ice prison against the wall, and got absolutely deleted by mass projectile AoE off of. He basically prisoned himself, like the ice prison here where it's AoEing itself. It cranks up your damage like insane. That was so funny. Yeah, I don't normally kill Beyond boss that fast. It's great. Or lightning strike. Tainted fusing, nice. Yeah, so you know, I just want you to know that when I set up the path of building, and this probably confuses some people, I set up my path of building and there's 3 separate trees. That's me doing a whole bunch of extra work so you guys have a blueprint for where to go move forward. And that's because my brand as a build creator and a content creator tends to lean more towards the end game, not the early game. So that's me kind of appeasing my audience who's come to expect me to present end game builds, like progressive build, Headhunter variants, you know, all that stuff. That people kind of expect that of me. And, you know, maybe I've painted myself into a corner a little bit in that way, but that's why you know, that's where my compromise was. I was like, okay, I want to make some kind of new player-friendly build. But, you know, I know a lot of my veterans are going to be like, well, hey, what the heck is this? This is like child's play, right? You get this 5-div bow setup. What? Come on, tell me the real build. Where's the real build? I know that's going to be a response from a lot of the veterans in my community. So to try and appeal to both, I've made 3 separate snapshots in time, which is something no other content creator does that. Well, they might make separate snapshots in time, but they will be for, like, you know, the in-game league start setup and the leveling setups, right? So I had 3 separate leveling setups, 3 separate end-game setups, all snapshotted in time. Then you just did all that stuff to try to cover my bases for everyone. And I get it, you know, it confuses some people because they're like, well, you know, more information is not always good. It can be more confusing. But anyway, I'm just trying to explain where I'm coming from, and I'm just seeing a lot of people get a little bit tripped up with the whole crit transition. Maybe I probably should have made a separate video on YouTube prior to League launch to really key that in, what I'm saying right now. Those puzzle box, nice. Yeah, guys, here we go. I'm done with 100 maps. Almost got it done in one day. Took almost 5 minutes per map, so this was about an 8-hour farm in total. Very easy to set up. Again, no fragments whatsoever involved. A little over 4 divines invested for 100 maps, so let's see the results. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why I can't see a proper number here on the left, a nice total breakdown, but I did go ahead and manually add in all this stuff. It can be a little strange, the calculations here. Some things maybe seem a tiny bit off, but some things are also not included because they didn't meet the benchmark, but perhaps they sell anyway in like a mass dump sale. Overall, I think it's going to be fairly accurate here. We've got everything all broken down. Did a lot of bubblegum stuff, for sure. And maps, indeed. Maps are worth something. And they're especially worth something this league because people want to run the trash maps with their minions through the league mechanic, right? So I think I am going to include maps of whatever they're worth right there. Now, obviously, a couple of Hinekora's locks is going to throw a big wrench into the calculations. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm very happy with 6 Divine Orbs, and I dropped 7 Exalted Orbs, so I guess I underestimated how many of those. Corrupting my own maps resulted in 7 Val Temples. That was good. 268 stacked decks is a really nice thing, too. I think these are being undervalued, by the way, at 1.5C each. The lesser Eldritch currency, greater Eldritch currency, I knew they'd be high. 6 Tainted Orbs of Fusing. Obviously, a lot of mercenary logbooks there. A lot of emblems. some T17 maps, some crumbs. You can see, I mean, this is just a typical breakdown. One random unique that's actually worth something. A Tainted Divine Teardrop, it's extremely rare, but I mean, it's not really valuable now. Yet. And cards. Cards are on here too. Now, I didn't mention this at the front end, but I have not scryed a map over the dunes. So this is baseline. You can do a lot better than this. If you scry over a Fortunate card or Brother's Gift or Apothecary card, or it sounds like maybe Divine Beauty might be a really smart one on that. So I'm going to look more into that. But definitely, you know, if you can, it's going to be a lot better if you can scry a good divination card over. Anyway, I did break everything down, and you can see, well, I mean, you can see it all broken down here. Obviously, most of it was currency. Even without the 30 divines worth of Hinekoras, it's still very high on the list as raw currency. Total, 90 divines gross, 85.69 divines net. For me, personally, counting the Hinekoras, I made 0.86 divines per map, net profit, and a little over 10 divines per hour. Now, of course, for sanity's sake, I'm going to put in the normalized results because that was a very unusual drop. A little over half a divine per map and almost 7 divines per hour. Again, that's about 8 hours to farm 100 maps. It's pretty reasonable. My build is more than capable of doing it. The non-crit version of my build, for anybody who's following what I'm doing with this build, this elemental hit of the Spectrum Warden, I was totally able to do this farm even on like the 5-10 div budget of the no crit variant, like the official build. I just chose not to showcase anything until I was up to the crit version as far as like, you know, formal farming strats. So pretty good numbers. You know, I heard MP's group, they were only making like 4 or 5 div an hour split between them doing just raw drops. I remind you guys, this was not focused on raw drops or magic finding at all. It was very much focused on league-specific rewards, which is something that I like to push in the first week. I think it's a really smart way to farm maps for the Eldritch Altar rewards, sometimes Exarch Altar rewards. If you can't even do Legion yet, you should probably look into just basic zero investment Exarch Altar rewards. I've made videos on that in the past, in past leagues. The Legion reward. Legion's always good. Okay, I know some people say like Legion's not that good, but of course it's good. It's going to produce good results, especially on low investment. If you use Scarabs and Fragments, it might not pan out so well. I didn't look too deep into that. Sounds like the investment cost is oddly high for even simple like Legion investing stuff, like Legion Scarabs and Sergeants and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, that is it for the results on there. I'm going to take you back into the map, and we're going to do some gambling real quick. There were a few unusual results that are not being calculated, you know, as such in here. I got an almost perfect rarity helmet. I have an actual perfect attack speed fracture hydroscale gauntlets, which is indeed worth a lot more than just some random amount. Perfect Dex Fracture Bone Ring, which is apparently worth a bit, and we have, you know, a couple of things to save for the gambling portion. So these were a few like outlier drops that, you know, they just happen, and I figured I'd put them to the side. They're going to be added value that wasn't tabulated at all. All right, gambling results. Let's see. I got to get all those stacked decks ready. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Nice little one here. Nice one here. Nice one here. Let's see what these big ones are worth. We got almost 1 divine there. Nurse is 1.6 and Garish Power is 75. And some pretty good ones here too. Now my loot filter is kind of loose here, so some of these cards really aren't worth anything. And then there's the real trash at the end, which I'll show you in a second here. Okay, and that stuff didn't even pass the test. 268 divination cards. I definitely came out ahead, for sure, on that. So we'll put those away. Gamba's going good so far. Let's see, a couple more things to do. Really just these 2 things. Let's see what I got here. Dark Pact. Dark Pact. Nope. Boom. Bated Breath, not replica. Okay. I don't think it's worth anything. All in all, pretty good. Okay, guys, here we go. Final thoughts. You might be wondering why I did this farm, why I'm doing this video the way I'm doing it. It's just come to my attention. A lot of people are feeling the, I don't know, the seasonal league start blues around making currency. Everyone's trying to go out and find the newest, greatest, biggest thing. I think last league was a bit damaging to our morale in that sense. It seemed like you always needed to stay on top of things to see the biggest farms, whereas a lot of just traditional farms that are always good remain good and are always just steadfast methods of farming that will always get you currency. And it looks like, if my calculations are correct, even with normalized results, somewhere around 200 maps of this will give me it from 0 to a Headhunter, okay? If I just farm 200 maps, I mean, how hard is that really to farm 200 maps? Yeah, it'd take a little while, but it's nothing crazy to do. So if you're someone who's like never had a Headhunter, or it takes you ages to get a Headhunter, and you try to imagine 200 maps, because the perception is maybe it's just really bad T16 farming, and T17 might prove to be bigger results than this. But if you just stick to it and grind it through, yeah, the reality is you'll get a Headhunter for sure. And this is what I did. I mean, I'm basically showing you guys what I did to get a Headhunter. I mean, most of what I needed, I just got in this 100 maps with a lucky drop, but I could have just farmed more maps. I mean, you can't possibly lose currency unless I was bricking maps, which never happened. Every map I'm just paying the Alch Orb and the Val Orb in the map. And yes, indeed, I was able to sustain maps doing this pretty easily. A lot of these aren't doing this stuff because they were like random map drops. So yeah, there's a T16 farm. It was not Exarch Altar farm, but it was just a little bit better than that. And by the way, I just want to make you guys understand, like for next league, if you're one of those extreme gamers who can get to this stage of the game in like 1 or 2 days, this would have been one of the absolute best ways to make currency if you could actually do it. An Expedition Legion Beyond farm on a 5 to 10 div budget character. Those of you who basically do sleepless league starts would have been able to farm a Headhunter so fast it would have made your head spin. But that's not me, okay? And that's another part of the video, is I'm showcasing this farm that would be extraordinarily good at farming Headhunter ASAP by mapping Legion, but doing it after the honeymoon phase, after all of that, the great opportunity is now past, so to speak. Well, it doesn't matter because you're still making plenty of currency, and in the first couple days of the league, you're not going to be using fragments because nobody's trading them anyway. I still didn't use any this time too, and so it's just so simple and easy. Yeah, you need some kind of character that can do Legion, of course, but other than that, that's it, guys. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and where the heck did that double Hinekora's luck come from anyway? I still don't know. I still don't know. That's it for the video. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.